Asalamu Aleykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everyone. I just came back from Isha. Recently, one of my children said to me, Mama, can you please help us and make a fresh bread for us? It has been a year since I made fresh bread or pizza. So this is my sourdough starter. A year I forgot it in the fridge. Well, did not forget it in the fridge. I put it there, left it. It's a year later, and this is what it looks like. It's cold, and the bottom, as you can see, this is einkorn sourdough starter. Due to my health, I had to do low carb keto lifestyle. Less than 20 grams a day I do carbs. And so I haven't made bread for my family. I've been buying it when they need bread from the store or making rice or oatmeal for them. So that's what it looks like now. So I decided to feed it, but it's very hard right now. As you can see, I can't even use the fork. Since it's the night time, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it, leave it in a warm place for the night, and then we will see what happens tomorrow, inshallah. Hopefully it'll take off. So here's the next day. I even wrapped it up with my sweater. Let's see if we can save this einkorn sourdough starter. It's nice and warm. I always leave my breads and sourdough starter in the kitchen because it's a little bit warm. So the next day it's easier to handle it now. I'm just going to remove all that green dark stuff that are on top. As you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and clean it. Someone gave it to me, organic all-purpose flour, and my einkorn starter, I'm just going to feed it all-purpose flour. As you can see, it's nice and yellow, and I just go ahead and mix it with warm water and let that mix together. It just takes few minutes and it will come together nicely. A year later, let's see what we can do with it, and at the end I will also make bread. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. Let's get flour and mix it. Any flour will do. I have done how to start your own sourdough starter. I will link in the description. I have done it a video before with einkorn, rice flour. I have done it, rye flour, brown rice. I have done those, so it's in my channel. But now I'm just going to go ahead and feed warm water with a little bit of flour. My husband and I are supposed to go out for a few hours, so I'm just going to also leave it in the kitchen counter and cover it and see if it takes off. Hopefully it'll thrive. It just needs some time and a warm place. You just got to give time. That's one thing about making bread and pizza and those kind of things. It needs some time and patience, honestly, and then you end up with this beautiful, delicious foods. Even though I'm not going to eat this bread, but my family, especially my children, really miss my homemade bread, so I'm just going to do that for them. I make my own bread, which is low carb, and I have shared that before. It should be in our channel as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean after myself and see in a few hours, hopefully it will take off. Now I'm just going to cover it with a nice dry towel and keep it there. Now I'm back. Let's see. I see some bubbles. Yep. As you can see, it's thriving. I'll just go ahead and use a couple of spoons just to try it out and use my bread mixer and just make simple sourdough bread with warm water and the sourdough starter. Just a couple of spoons will do for now because I have to go back to it. I haven't done this for a year, you guys. 2 large spoons will do it. Some avocado oil. Let that mix. And I'm just going to add some salt and flour, and that's really it. And I'll go ahead and feed my sourdough starter while that's mixing. That's all it needs. You got to keep fixing it and just keep feeding it a little more water and flour. That's really what it takes. So I'm just going to add some salt into the mix. In Somalia, we call it, since I'm from Somalia originally, we call it khamir. That we use sourdough starters all the time, every night, and we feed it every night. So now I fed it. I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit on the counter as well. And my bread is all mixing together real well. It's coming really nice together. I'm just going to let that rise a little bit. I'm looking for kind of a nice, thick, hard bread, and the children can eat it with some soup, you know. So let's remove that, and I put this dish some oil, easy to handle there. I'm starting to remember my old days. This is fun, just watching it, feeding it. It just keeps you healthy, and I love it. I love doing these kind of things. Do you guys like to make your own breads too? I know a lot of cultures, they do make their own breads. They're easy to handle too when you have a little bit of oil in the dish or some flour. So I'll go ahead and cover that. Couple of towels. Let's see if it rises, and I'm just gonna put it inside the oven for a few hours. It has a little light that keeps it warm. So after a few hours, let's get it out and see. They'll be so grateful when they smell the bread. You can see all the bubbles. It's a little dark in here. I apologize about that, but see all the bubbles. It took off. It's rising, and it is ready to just transfer it into my bread basket to let it sit there for a little more. I love to see that, but I'm just going to go ahead and stretch it and just playing around with it now, since I really haven't made a bread for so long. I thought, you know what, give it more time and just stretch it and just keep kneading it and everything, because it's been a while. It's gonna end up in a beautiful bread anyway, because somehow when you make something like this in the house, it smells so good. The children are so grateful. Nothing goes to waste in our little homestead anyway. Anything we make and it doesn't taste even right, we still eat it because we're so grateful for it. So I have this little basket. I'm just going to put a little bit of flour and put the dough in there and give it another hour or half an hour and just bake it and see. It might take time to make these kind of things, but at least you know what you are feeding your family. The breads that I was buying, it was Ezekiel bread. It's really high nutrition and good, but the children really love when I make my own bread, which is kind of nice to teach them too, to make their own food, and they know where their food comes from and what they are eating. And it's important for us to teach our children too. And honestly, this is fun for me, to be honest. So I'm just gonna flip it and then upside down, kind of like, and bring it together, the dough. It's gonna end up a beautiful bread. Artisan hard loaf sourdough bread. It really was a delicious. They said, the children were like, this reminds us in the past. So my sourdough starter is trying to do it. Is fermenting. As you can see, I see little bubbles. It's starting to, so it's coming to life, and it smells pretty good too. I have my cast iron skillet, as you can see right there. The oven, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on about over 400. I'll go ahead and warm the cast iron. While that gets warmed up, let's flip the bread into the parchment paper. It will be easier to put it into the cast iron. Aha, mashallah, tabarakallah. I have one egg. I'm just going to mix it and just to give it an egg wash. I'll go ahead and cut it. I have a little blade that I keep for my bread. Any way you want to design. I'm just going to do a couple of slices. That's it. There we go. Just wash it with the egg all over it, and then we will put it into the cast iron and let that cook. Let that bake, I should say. Yep. It's beautiful. There we go. So now I will go ahead and grab the cast iron out of the oven. It is so hot. This was given to me actually, and it was so bad when it was given to me, and I remember cleaning it. It should be in my channel, how to care for your cast iron. It's very hot. Just put that there, and I sprinkle a little bit of water, as you can see from my hands, to steam it and put it back into the oven. It's so hot, so I have to be careful. There we go. Can you believe something that was a year old? We can help it out and it comes to a beautiful bread. So it's about a few minutes it was in there, and I just uncover it, put it back again, and let it bake for another 15 minutes. So it took about half an hour, or a little bit more than half an hour, and here it is. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and give the videos thumbs up, and comment down if you love to bake bread. Look at that beautiful brown bread. The key is to let it cool down for a long time. Yep, that's what it ended up. Looks beautiful, mashallah, tabarakallah. So I let that cool down. The house, it smells so good, you all. The things we do for our families, right? Allah will bless us, inshallah. So the next day I was able to cut it because my in-laws were coming, and I used it. Look at that. I have to show you guys. Look at that sourdough bread. It looks good. I love it. So more bread to come this summer, inshallah. And if you have questions or comments, please leave it in the comment area. That looks beautiful. No yeast was used because we used the starter. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Next video, look out for my in-laws when they are coming and what I made. Assalamu Aleykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.